G'day, it's Cracker Freddy and I'm playing some Battlefield 3. I don't want to talk about the gameplay a whole lot. I will just say that it's my first time back playing on the PlayStation for a while. I've been playing a lot of Bad Company 2 on the PC, and this is just one of the gameplays I got before the patch was installed, so I could try and get some footage with a few different guns I thought might have changed, and hopefully tomorrow night or the night after I'll be able to upload a video that'll show a little bit better the differences in real time, how the guns have changed. So anyway, the real reason I am doing this commentary is to talk about the patch, of course. And I just wanted to, if you haven't read the patch, I'll leave a link in the description. And you might want to go through and read all the patch notes yourself. But I've condensed it here down just into a bit of a summary with a few important points that I think are important. So first of all, the M16A3, as some of you may have already heard, they are nerfing that to a degree. Basically, they've got written here, specifically the M16A3 and the M4A1 have increased recoil to make them less attractive in all situations. And with the M16A3 and the M4A1, they've both increased the recoil amount slightly. So I don't know how much that's going to play an effect on it. Slightly is a fairly subjective thing. Maybe they've increased the recoil quite a lot, maybe they haven't done a whole lot. I'm not sure, but it looks like whilst they're going away from the M16A3, or they certainly want to bring it back down on level with a lot of the other assault rifles, it does look like they're investing a little bit of time into the M416. The M416 currently is a decent weapon, but it does suffer a little bit. But they have added some improvements like the vertical, horizontal and first shot recoil have all been reduced. So that's fairly significant. They do also mention in the patch notes that they are trying to get competitors like the M416 or alternative assault rifles on par with the M16A3 so that people can try different weapons and don't feel like they have to be binded to one particular one. Now with the M416 they have also increased bonuses provided by a bipod on it. I don't know if many people use bipods. I am actually a fan of bipods. If you use them correctly and you set them up, it can basically make your gun a laser beam. So it makes a huge advantage, or gives you a huge advantage over distance. So yeah, I think that's a really good thing. Interestingly, they have actually increased the bonuses provided by bipods on the F2000, G3, A3, M27 and the M416, as well as the Pecheneg, Type 88, FAMAS and the MG36. So that will be okay. It also gets a small 0.1 second faster reload, simply because they have synchronized the reload animation and the actual time it takes to reload it. So that's good. I think the M416 may well end up becoming one of the more popular weapons. It's certainly something that it looks like DICE has decided they want to make that weapon a more popular weapon. Something else that they've improved slightly is the F2000. That obviously got nerfed a long time ago. They have been progressively making it slightly better each patch, and now on the new one they have given it even more. Again, that had the synchronization between the animation and the actual reload time. So that has shortened it again by about 0.1 seconds. But they have also reduced the short and long reload time of the F2000. And again, that was one of the ones that has the bonuses, increased bonus provided by the bipod. And that's what I'm using in this film clip, the F2000 with a bipod. I set it up a couple of times. I think I might even get one kill somewhere. But it is quite handy. Now it's also interesting to note on the AEK971, a gun that is already regarded as a fairly good weapon and used as a very good alternative to the M16A3. They have in fact reduced the short and long reload time on that gun as well. So I'm starting to think the AEK971 will be the gun of choice for the majority of people, providing that they have in fact reduced the M16s or increased the M16A3's recoil dramatically enough to make you want to steer away from that weapon. Now just to go into some other interesting notes, the AA gun has been slightly improved when it comes to increasing the damage against infantry. They said themselves simply AA was over-nerfed in a previous update, and they now also properly do damage to MBTs again. Also interesting to note that, again, as a lot of people will have heard, they have or they are improving silencers again. They've reduced the range penalty for silencers on most weapons. I'm not going to go through them all here again, they're in the patch notes, but it looks like pretty much anything you whack a silencer on is now going to be slightly better at range. Now we get to the interesting part. For those of you who are helicopter pilots, they seem to have made a lot of dramatic and significant changes to helicopters. So first of all, removed flares from gunner position in helicopters. With the right combination of unlocks, an attack helicopter could be effectively invulnerable to lock-on missiles. Removing the flares from the gunner balances the attack helicopters against ground fire. Right, so with that in mind, I think that this is a fairly bold move. I know that at times helicopters can be extremely annoying when they are piloted by a very good pilot with a very good gunner. They're both popping their flares in sync, and especially if there's only a couple of people trying to take the helicopter down, they can be very difficult, very punishing, and turn a game, or ruin a game, depending on what side you're on. But on the other hand, as someone who has been a chopper pilot, I know that sometimes you'll be up there and there will be people with Stinger missiles on the ground, 3 or 4 of them. You've got decent jets, the other attack chopper after you. A lot of it really depends on how your jets go. If your jets are looking after the other jets, then you might be okay. If your jets are getting towered up and the other team's really dominating the sky, then you really need those 2 flares to be able to stay up in the air and do anything at all. Otherwise, you may as well not take off in the chopper. So fairly subjective, but that's how that goes. Now air radar also now shows friendly vehicles as well. And helicopter weapons can now destroy equipment with splash damage. So anybody who's been flying around trying to take out those SO flames will be very happy to know that it will most likely now work. Now, laser designator unlock on the scout helicopter has been changed from a pilot upgrade to a new stance in the co-pilot seat, which is position 4. Like the CITV turret on the main battle tanks, the scout helicopter laser designator is permanently available to players who have received the unlock. So I think this could be a really good thing. DICE has increased the damage helicopter and jet rockets do to helicopters, jets and infantry, and they've also increased the damage helicopter gunners and IFVs do to helicopters and jets. So basically, even though they have removed the ability for the pilot or for the gunner to flare, they have in fact made the helicopters a little bit more lethal, so it might be a bit easier to take down enemy jets, which can be a pain, the enemy helicopter, and then you've only got to worry about the ground troops. So yeah, it's a little bit up and down. I don't know how much the helicopter pilots out there will like it. I think it'll get annoying and potentially in a lot of games take the helicopters right out of the level altogether, especially if the other team's running a lot of engineers with a lot of Stingers. Now, some of the one particular point that I find not to be that great, and it's only minor, but I didn't enjoy it a lot, is the repair tool damage against enemy vehicles is lowered by 10%. Now, I don't know about you, but I personally haven't ever really played in a game where I've thought the other team's engineers are destroying our tanks and vehicles left, right and centre with their repair torches, and they're doing it in a very fast and lethal way. It's not something I've ever thought of. I reckon in all of my time playing Battlefield, I've probably tried to destroy a tank with a blowtorch maybe 20 odd times possibly, and succeeded about 3 times. And I know being in the tank, it's very easy to sort of realise that your tank's getting done with a repair torch. You jump out, shoot them, repair your tank again, and away you go. So I don't think that's particularly necessary. I'm not sure why they've added that, but it just seems like they've made it even harder to destroy them. Now, they've changed the reload behaviour of the tank destroyer cannon weapons to prevent being able to fire 2 shots from different weapons quickly, one right after another. Now, I'm not sure if that's referring to the canister, but I know that a lot of people use the canister as a secondary weapon, and it can be very lethal because you basically get 2 shots in one, and it's fantastic against helicopters, against other troops, all that sort of thing. So that's something else they've changed. And interestingly, they've also changed how MCOM station defend attack score is calculated. The victim no longer needs to arm or disarm the crate, but rather be in a 5 metre radius of the crate. So this could, in fact, change how this... I think it encourages team play and encourages people to get in there closer to the MCOM station a little bit more, which can only be a good thing, as that's what they're trying to do. So anyway, that is my summary on the interesting points of the patch notes. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, feel free to hit subscribe. I'm going to be having more gameplay come up soon of Battlefield 3. I'm hoping to get some Armoured Kill up very shortly, and as I said earlier in the video, either tomorrow night or the night after, hopefully get some comparisons up so you can kind of see them, figure out if there really is a whole lot of difference that you're going to notice in the game. At this point, as I make this commentary, I have already played some post-patch gameplay, and I can confirm the M4A1 really didn't feel as good as it was prior, and even the M16A3 I wasn't having a fantastic time with, but things like the G36C, that felt really good. So yeah, maybe it has worked. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out, and that's me.